my hand a membership list of the Bohemian Grove that was given to me by a former employee. And Colin Powell is on the membership list back in 2005, as is Donald Rumsfeld, Bush 41, most of the neocon orchestrators of the Iraq War. And so I do believe that this email hack from Guccifer is authentic. And it looks like they're obviously trying to get Tony Blair, former UK Prime Minister, in there, because he's still active in the political arena. He did not just retire and run off into the sunset. He he heads a foundation and is still very active. And so it looks like they're trying to get him to attend the Grove. This email was from March of 2012. And apparently Tony Blair was too busy, his schedule was too booked, but he did reply allegedly that he hopes that his schedule will be more open in 2013 this year. And as you know, the Bohemian Grove is a fascinating, secretive society of the elite where they rub shoulders, and it's more than just a party, as I'm sure that you know.
Well, let's go over a few of the things that you just brought up, Mark. First of all, you mentioned the membership list. I just wanted to go over a few of the people who we know have attended. Media moguls from the New York Times, CNN, Fox, Rockefeller, Kissinger, Carter, Nixon, Bush Sr. and Jr., and a bunch of Bush-era neocons. You actually have a yearbook. I mean, I'm sure there are hundreds more that we don't know about. Talk about this yearbook you obtained and what is in it, and also what policies do we know have really come out of the Grove, Mark? Because I think when a lot of people hear this, they just think, oh, it's just crazy, it's just a party in the woods. But I mean, there have been actual policies and decision makings that have happened here.
Yeah, I was able to obtain a rare Bohemian Grove yearbook. They call it the Annals of the Bohemian Grove, because members will die. A lot of these men are old men, and their libraries, their estates will be sold and find their way into bookstores. And so occasionally, a Bohemian Grove yearbook will surface, and they've surfaced over the years. People have scanned photographs, and this is where the famous 1995 or 1996 photograph of George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush appearing at a lakeside talk is from these actual yearbooks. And while many people will say that it's just a resort, it's just a drinking club, Peter Phillips, director of Project Censored, wrote his dissertation and earned his PhD on the Bohemian Grove, and he was actually allowed into the Grove on several occasions under the full disclosure that he was writing a dissertation on the club. And he does reveals some interesting findings that some things were well known, but he does confirm that the atomic bomb, the Manhattan Project, was largely conceived within the Grove back in the 1940s. Just a kind of significant position there. Phillips writes, the atomic bomb, referring to the meeting that happened in the Grove at the clubhouse, the atomic bomb made this particular meeting at the Grove famous, and it was not an isolated case of doing business and government planning at the Bohemian Grove facilities. This was but one of a long series of historical business-related activities done in the context of the Bohemian corporate family network. And this is largely a consensus building organization. It's Bilderberg in the woods. It's in a more informal setting where the superclass, the elite billionaire Bilderberg banksters can meet, rub shoulders, get an insider's perspective on what is to come. And that's what the Lakeside Talks are. Every year during the Bohemian Grove's 2-week encampment, they have a Lakeside Talk every day. And it's an insider's view. They have different speeches given off the record by elite insiders. And so we have the atomic bomb, the Manhattan Project, conceived in the Bohemian Grove. The first meeting that led to the creation of the United Nations was also held at a Bohemian Grove clubhouse. So they can't say that this is not a policy-forming or a consensus-building association. And the patron saint of the Bohemian Grove is a figure known as St. John of Nepomuk. And there's a statue of him in the club with his finger to his lips, signaling to be quiet. And the reason he's the patron saint is because he was murdered for not divulging the confessions of the Queen of Bohemia. As you know, they value their secrecy very much.
Well, a lot of weird, bizarre symbolism, of course, Mark. We were both there reporting on it. Of course, we know about the cremation of care, that bizarre ritual that they, they burn this effigy to an owl, 40-foot owl named Moloch. But I wanted to get into also, and of course, the hack. I mean, what does this reveal? That we have a News Corps director telling Colin Powell that Tony Blair's priority should be going to the Bohemian Grove. I mean, that's truly revealing in itself. But since we only have a couple minutes left, I wanted to move on to Guccifer, who signs off as Illuminati Free World, and you, Mark, who've written a book called The Illuminati Facts and Fiction. Mark, this is something that I struggle with because it seems that giving an elite group of people whose names we can name a supernatural characterization like the Illuminati or New World Order, is it destructive to the dialogue because it makes people easily dismiss the matter? I mean, I haven't read your book, but what are some actual facts of the historical group once known as the Illuminati practicing today and yielding influence over global policy?
The Bavarian Illuminati, the ancient historical Illuminati, was really a modernization of the ancient mystery schools, and it is a superclass, a secret society of very powerful, wealthy individuals. It's the concept of a shadow government ruling elite. So today, we refer to the Illuminati as being the shadow government today, or they operating through these front groups, the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, an organization that sounds like it's a committee within Congress, but it's a private organization, the Federal Reserve, again. So that is a little more accurate, more tangible a terminology than this blanket umbrella term of the Illuminati. And they are very well active today, throughout history, thousands of years into the past and currently today. We have powerful men in groups that have their own secret societies and backroom organizations that hold the keys to power. And what's interesting about the Grove, the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, the fact that the mainstream media in America will never acknowledge them, or in a serious manner, at least. And that goes to show the power that these groups have, because the Bohemian Grove is a very interesting story. It's certainly newsworthy, but you haven't seen it, you probably will not see it, discussed on American mainstream television in a serious manner, because the same people that are executives at these organizations, like Andrew Knight over there at News Corp, these are the members of the same organization that they're trying to keep hidden from the public.
And we see the same media moguls attending all of these think tanks that you just spoke of, Bilderberg, CFR, and the Bohemian Grove, of course. They are acting as the fronts to the shadow government. I mean, and we know who's there. We can call them out. Thank you so much, Mark Dice, author of Big Brother, The Orwellian Nightmare Come True, and Illuminati Facts and Fiction.
Thank you.
That's it, guys. But before I go, I want to give a special shout out to my mom, Sue Martin, watching right now from Pleasanton, California. Happy birthday. We'll see you all back here tomorrow.